Hey folks, how you doing? Ken here. Just thought I'd do another update on the saga that I'm having with Flukes and everything. So last update was I did um, 3 treatments of Learnex Pro. So I did a full treatment on day 1. I did a half treatment on day 2 and a half treatment on day 3. That was all um, done after a PP dose the previous day. So yeah, it worked. First thing, I've done a few scrapes since, and there are no flukes. So I'm delighted with that after multiple failed attempts and various different treatments. Unfortunately, I'm not out of the woods yet, and the reason being that I do appear to have costia. Well, not me, the fish. Um, and okay, it's not uncommon for it to happen after a treatment or after a dose of Fluke. So I treated with FMG. Now I have under there, behind there, NT Labs FMG. So NT Labs FMG, if you've read about it, it was the only one I could get at the time. It is not as strong as the likes of Koshuri. So I did up the dose to about 130%. Did 2 doses, and to be honest, I didn't bother with a third, and the reason I didn't bother is because it didn't even make a dent. What I'll do is I'll put a video at the end of this from the microscope, but there are these little vibrating dots that I see. They're moving around. Now, unfortunately, in my microscope, I have 40 by magnification and 100 by. My 400 by magnification, which some say is too strong anyway. I can't get it to focus for some reason. I don't know. That's a separate issue. But you can see these things vibrating and moving around. There's actually a very long thread on it on koiforum.uk with various people saying, oh, that's nothing to worry about. If you look at the videos of costia, that's not costia. And I did, and costia can be, you know, even at 100 by magnification, little white dots that are moving around with purpose, you know, as though they're going somewhere, whereas these things are moving around in a very small circle. So this individual, it was a woman, and I was going back in the pandemic times, but tried most things, PP, FMG, couple of treatments of FMG, couple of treatments of PP, made no difference. And they eventually reached out to a specialist. I can't remember the woman's name. She's very well known. It'll probably come to me during this video. And she had a look at the videos from the microscope and sent somebody out locally. Now, it was the time of COVID, so everything was restricted. Normally, she said she would take a sample into the lab, but she couldn't. So she sent someone out to do a scrape, which they did, and they confirmed it definitely is costia, but a different type of costia, or a different stage to what we're used to seeing. But the advice to her was, and we'll go out here and you'll see, the advice to her was, because the individual who went out and looked at her pond made the determination that, listen, you have a problem. It's not an absolute infestation, which mine isn't either. I find it on some slides, not on others. Sorry, the sun's on my eyes and it's a bit windy here today. But the fish all looked fine. And you can see from here, my fish all look fine. There's a bit of scratching going on, but there's no clamp fins. There's none down at the bottom of the pond or anything like that. So what I'm going to do, again, as I did with the Fluke treatments, is hold off. I know it's costia, and you need to be careful. It's a killer, but I'm just going to hold off and keep a close eye on the fish. I do have Alparex Colombo, which a lot of people swear by, ordered, which I should get late this week or early next week. So I will see how the fish do. But you know, they say that things like costia and others are present in the pond in some form, but the fish can fight them off. Maybe I'll just give the fish a chance, and as I say, keep a close eye on it. I'll do another scrape. But yeah, it is very, very frustrating. And some of us seem to be going through problems like this, others not, for some reason. I don't know why. You know, there's several theories around the type of water, although I've other koi keepers reasonably close by me here that would have similar water conditions and don't have this problem. So I am struggling to understand it. Another thing that's been said to me by a few people and comments on the videos is the trickle tower. Is it possible that whatever it is you're not clearing from the trickle tower and it's reinfecting the pond? As I said before, I'm not 100% on that theory. It's a possibility. Certainly the fluke doesn't seem to have happened because I haven't got reinfected. But it's something I've said that if I absolutely need to, I will break it down. It's just a big job to do that. And if I do break it down, I'll put in the media into media bags, so as it's easy to do the next time. But the advice is with the trickle tower, some say is to take all the media out and just soak it in the pond, hang it in bags in the pond, and make sure the medication fully penetrates it, which is easy to do if you have a backy shower sitting on the edge of the pond. They're not that big. My thing in there, it's all just one big cylinder, if you like, and it's a bit of a job to break it down, but as I say, I will if I have to. So that's really it. Fishies are doing fairly well. They're eating like pigs. I did feed a bit through the Lernex, or not the Lernex, the FMG. I know, sorry, I can't see the camera. I know some say don't, but I did. The fish were looking for food. They were all very active, and I just went for it and gave them not a huge amount of food, but I did give them some food, and they were eating fine, so no issues there. I'm in the middle of my usual filter clean, so I generally do that at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. Pond temperature 20 degrees. It's been reasonably stable. pH 7.7, 7.8. I wasn't getting pHs of over 8, 8.2, 8.3 at times, but I recalibrated the pH meter on the Cactoli and it seems to be more realistic. 7.8 to 8 is in or about my pH. It's about that out of the tank or out of the tap. Other than that, it's not so bad. My big blue is due a water change. You can see it in the, or a carbon change. I did tested it there and it was 0.05 parts per million, which is high. I then ran some air through it, so I have a hose I connect up to this air pump here and just run it through and flush it all out, and it agitates the carbon. It did improve it down to 0.03, but it's still not great, so during the week I will change it. Lucky enough, it's now Monday. I'm off work for the week, so I can do a few jobs and just keep a close eye on the fish at the same time. But that's the update. If you have any comments, as I say, I'll stick the video on now and let you see these little dark vibrating blobs, and see what your opinion is. But the general consensus from the experts is it is a type of costia and I need to be careful. So as I say, I might just scrape a fish now in the process of cleaning and see what's there, just make sure it's not getting any worse. And I will talk to you again. By the way, I will be at the national show on Saturday, so if anyone's there, please say hello. Cheers, thanks a lot. Hi folks, I mentioned in the video about me getting little black dots on some scrapes that I was doing, and this is one I did about a week ago. I haven't played it yet, so there's nothing moving. But there just was a number of little dots. There was a large number in this one that seemed to be moving um, under their own accord. So when we're looking at scrapes, really what you're looking is for something that moves. There are things you can see in the slime rivers, as they call them. Um, they all tend to move in a direction, but the things like costia or fluke, obviously, or trichidemia, they do tend to move under their own steam. So I'll just show you this as I'm showing. You can see around this area here, there's little black dots. This is at 100 magnification. Um, and they definitely are moving, not a lot. Now, when I've looked at videos of costia online, I do see larger objects that do move with purpose in much bigger um, sort of areas than that. So I did a search, as I mentioned, on kaiforum.uk, and there was a woman there who had this exact problem. She'd fluke, did another scrape, fish were flashing, and found these blobs. And there's quite a long thread, I think of about 10 pages. I will post a link to it. Um, but there were a couple of people who said, "Oh yeah, I've noticed that on my scrapes. Never thought much of it. Doesn't look like costia to me, so I just ignored it." And they've never had a problem. Whereas this lady was having problems. She did get in touch with Paula Reynolds. You've probably heard of her, the esteemed vet who's a koi specialist based in the UK. And Paula looked at her videos and said, "Yeah, that's costia. It's probably maybe just a different stage of it, but it is costia." Um, Paula also got somebody local to the lady to drop out to her pond and do a scrape and examine it. Now, when the person did a scrape at the pond, it was clear, and his advice to her was, "Listen, your fish look fine, they're eating, just keep an eye on them." Um, so I'll just play this again and you can see I can't increase it. That's 100. There is a 400 lens on my microscope, my Apex practitioner, but it doesn't work. I can't get it into focus. I think it's faulty. I have ordered a 200 magnification, which should be more than enough for what I need. But this lady actually did blow them up into 400, and you couldn't make it. They were just still blobs that were moving around in a circle kind of thing. There was no sort of, you could see a shape of a comma and say, yeah, that's definitely costia. So an odd one. Um, so I'm showing you a scrape about a week ago. I did another one tonight of my jag, and it was completely clear. The fish look fine, as I say, they're eating. So I'm going to do what that lady did and just do nothing and keep a close eye on things and see how it goes. And hopefully, if it is something there, the fish, when they settle in their immune system, improves, they can fight it themselves without throwing in more medication. But that's it. I'll just play it again. If you've any comments on that, or if you've seen something similar, let me know. Um, Other than that, I shall leave you and keep you updated on how it goes in the coming days and weeks. Cheers. Thanks a lot.